Okay, so clothing. Um, let's hide the armature just to make things a little easier to see. When you look at clothing tutorials or beginning clothing tutorials, the first thing they tend to make is a t-shirt. Now, while a t-shirt is kind of boring, it is a simple enough garment to demonstrate um, the basic process. So we'll do a t-shirt first, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to elaborate on it and do something a little more complex, just to show you some of the skills. Now, like I say, this is never intended to be a fashion design course or anything like that. It's just a basic intro into avatar mesh creation, rigging, clothing, to get you started. Because to be honest, I could do 6 months worth of tutorials just on clothing, and it's not really what this course is about. So anyway, we got our avatar here, and where to start with it? Well, first of all, for the moment, let's forget all about cloth modifiers and things like that. Okay, what we've got here is we've got the human form, the shape, and clothing fits the shape. So we may as well use this shape to start the clothing. So how do we do that? Well, let's select him first, it would help. Let's go into edit mode. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to start with a t-shirt, so we've got to think where the t-shirt fits and where the ends where it ends. We've got all these nice edge loops to work with, which will be nice to kind of distinguish it. So let's start to kind of make a t-shirt here. So I'll start at the arms, and I'm thinking this t-shirt will end about here, which would be what, 1, 2, 3 vertices away from this seam. So I'm going to select the edge loop. I'm going to select the same on the other side. So Shift Alt select. Okay, the bottom of the t-shirt, I'm thinking probably around this area. Okay, so let's start to select these edge loops, and that's coming way too far down his butt, so I might want to go up just one more. So let me Control Z backwards and go up one, select these edge loops, and there, so it's just coming across the top of the butt. When we do pants, the pants will come up a little bit higher, so the t-shirt should go over it. Okay, so that's the two arms on the bottom, and we need to do the head. Depending on where you want to go, you could choose any of these vertices. I think I'm going to choose this one, or these edge loops rather. I'm just going to check it's gone all the way around the back, and it has. Okay, so this contained area here will be our basic t-shirt. So to select that, I'm going to hide the edges I've already selected. Okay, and then I can press L in the center here on one of these vertices to select all these, unhide with Alt H. Okay, so now we have this selection for a t-shirt. So all I'm simply going to do is I'm going to Shift D to duplicate that selection, Shift D and enter, and then I'm going to partition that center off or separate it off. So I'll use my P key and part that selection. Okay, and you see it's kind of disappeared, but it hasn't. Let's go into edit mode now, object mode. Okay, so I've got my gym selected. I know it's gym because I've got the head all around. I could kind of select the t-shirt, you can kind of see that, but let me just hide gym for a second so you can see this more clearly. We got this t-shirt shape. Okay, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to remove the materials from it so it's easier to see. So okay, so we got this blank t-shirt. Let me unhide gym, which was new gym. Okay, so now you can see this t-shirt very tightly fitting on him. Alright, we don't want it this tight. We probably want it just a touch bigger. So let's go to edit mode, select all, and we're going to use the Alt S, which is the scale from the normals. So move my mouse over here a bit, Alt S, and I'm just going to make this a tiny bit bigger, tiny bit looser. Probably about there. Okay. So now we've got this t-shirt. Don't worry about these back faces here. We'll deal with them. We've got this t-shirt fitting over him. Right. Okay. Let's go back into edit mode. Let's just hide Jim again for now. We're just working with this t-shirt. You can see we've got these seams which are kind of all over the place. Probably for a t-shirt I want simpler seams, so I'm going to clear the seams, Control E, clear seams. Alright. And then a t-shirt normally would come in two pieces. I could start to mark new seams on it. Let's bring a seam across the top and across the top there. And from under the arms, so which was this vertex here. I can Control E, mark those as seams, and while we're here we may as well just do the unwrap. So let's change this to a image editor. You can see where it's kind of fragmented from where the old seams were. So let's mark select all, U for unwrap. Why'd that do that? Okay, well, let's go full screen on this again. So we've got those seams. Let's mark the seams around the tops and the ends. So we got that. We got that one. We got that one. And we got that one. Okay, Control E, mark those seams. Let's come back again, select all, unwrap. Let's reset it. You reset. Now let's try an unwrap. Okay, I'm thinking I might need to apply scale here. Those scales looking okay. Let's do a Control A, rotation scale. Okay. Right. So, because it's not working for me, I'm looking to see what's going on down here. If I select this, it's not splitting there. So let's work this out. Let's see what's going on here. Where's that selected down here? Right. Okay. It's this point here that's kind of holding it together. That's kind of unwrapped all the way up there. And these join together. Let's see where that is on the model. And that's kind of the same point on the other side. So it's these areas that are holding it together. Now if I look more closely, when I was marking my seams, I can see why now. The seam didn't continue all the way down. So let me just mark these as seams. Control E. Mark seam. Let's go around the other side. And the same thing this side. Kind of glad that happened actually, because it does demonstrate that we need to be careful and check things. Control E, mark that as a seam. Okay. Let's select all again. U for unwrap. There we go. That's looking a lot more like I was expecting it, except it's still not 100% right across this shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this seam here seems to be a problem with. And it doesn't look like it's marked as a seam, does it? I thought I marked that. Alright, Control E, mark a seam, select all again, unwrap. That's much better. Okay, we got a front and a back to the shirt. Okay, so that's our shirt. Let's unhide Jim now. Right. Okay. When I look at this shirt, it's still rigged to the armature. Okay, so if we were to check some vertices on it, we'll see they've got weights. Okay, and for a simple t-shirt, that's fine. But you know, as we go and develop this more, we probably want to remove this from that rigging. Now, the easiest way to do this is to select Mark 001 here. Select this and pull it outside of the skeleton group. So do that, and it says there, drop to clear parent. We do that, and it's now not in that subset anymore. It's on its own. However, it will still have weights on it. So we go into edit mode, and I pull up all these. You can see these weights are there. So what I can do here is I can come across to my vertex tab, or vertex data tab. It doesn't matter if I select all or not. In fact, we can do it in object mode. We've got all the weight groups from the skeleton on this, and we can just remove these one by one. So select that, and we'll just go down the list and remove them. And we're looking up here, we've got the vertex data icon here. I'm thinking this should clear once I remove all these, and it has. Okay, so this is just now a standard non-rigged object that we can work with. Okay, so the t-shirt, we could use whatever tools we like. We can, for example, let's go to sculpt mode, and you know, we could kind of pull bits out or whatever, smooth them off, that kind of thing. We've got a UV, and what we could add in a material. So let's add a material. Let's go back into object mode. We've got no material, so we can add new material. You know, make it red or whatever. We could go into our node editor and set it up and make up procedural materials, all that kind of thing. We got the basic t-shirt. What do we want to do to make this a little bit better? We want to kind of close off these invisible areas, these backface areas. Let's go in edit mode. So we could do that with methods like select the edge loop, let's extrude and S, give it a little bit of thickness there. We could then extrude backwards on the Y axis, so EY, bring these in. Let's scale that in a bit more so it's not poking through, so S. So now when we're looking around at our avatar, we've actually got a little bit of inside to the garment. We haven't got it on the whole garment because we don't need it on the whole garment, just these kind of areas. You know, we could do the same with the neck there. Let's select this edge loop. Let's extrude and S, bring it inwards. And extrude, not extrude. Yeah, it was extrude on Z. Just to bring it down. Okay. Might be a little bit of poke through there, so let's scale that in a bit. Okay. So then once again, when we're looking, the garment does have some thickness to it, or appears to anyway. We can do it all around, and that would be the basic kind of t-shirt. Now to rig that again, you know, once we finish with everything, Because the reason we removed the rigging is because when we extruded these vertices and made these changes, the extruded vertices will have exactly the same weight as the vertices that they were extruded from, although they're in a different position, so that can cause some problems. Okay, so the basic way to do this, let's show the bones again. So we've got t-shirt selected, shift select the armature, control P, automatic weights. Okay, this is very basic. It's not the best way because as the garments get more complex we need to kind of copy the weights from the skin, but we'll get to all of that later on. But just for the purposes of now, let's choose the armature, let's go into pose mode, and let's kind of, you can see it's working. This is actually pulling at the back of the neck here a bit more than I would like, but that's stuff we need to work on. Let's get the chest bone, let's rotate that. You can see it's basically rigged and following the armature. Okay, so that would be a basic t-shirt. Okay, we could come back and, you know, like some lines here. So these lines wouldn't be so bad. I think if I was going to do this, what I would actually do is I would add a subdivision surface. Okay, this smooths out, this whole lot smooths out, but when I'm baking my textures I would bake it with the subdivision surface on. Okay, to get these nice smooth kind of lines and transitions. And then once I had my baked textures I would remove the subdivision surface modifier and apply that texture to this lower poly mesh. But we've learned about that before, baking with a high poly to use on a low poly. Alright, so that's a basic shirt, but like I said, we're not going to be happy with the shirt. So I think what we'll do is we're just going to stop here and have a discussion. When we come back we'll do something a bit more elaborate.